Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this on? Good morning. This is a place of joy and hope. In this space, we honor connections across the generations and embrace the relationships that nurture our well-being. We care for one another on Sunday morning and outside of it. We are glad that you are sharing your presence with us on this day. Welcome to All Souls, where all souls are welcome. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 360, Here We Have Gathered. That was beautiful. Just need to pick up the energy a little bit. And if I was Carolyn, I'd make you do like the chorus again, but we're moving on. So each week, we take a moment to share the love we hold in our hearts and receive the peace held in this community. We begin by waving to the folks in the online pews. You never know, sometimes retired people secretly watch the service. So we welcome them too, if they are. We are glad that you're joining us virtually. If you are with us online for the first time, please let us know in the chat so we can give you a special welcome. And if you're visiting here in Unity Hall for the first time and you're brave enough to do so, please raise your hand so we can also give you a special no. Okay, we're all veterans here. Some of us can be overwhelmed by this boisterous time of greetings, so if you prefer to stay in your seat and watch it all happen, please feel free to do that. And for the rest of us, let us turn to our neighbors and share the joy of being together. Yes.
Then I'll step up and read it.
Yeah. The kids are outside playing kickball, so Hazel wasn't here to help us gather together again.
Good morning. We acknowledge the Niantic, Mohegan, Mashantucket, Pequot, and Eastern Pequot people as the traditional caretakers of the land on which we worship. We honor and pay respect to these tribes, their ancestors, and their lineage, who today uphold traditional practices, art, and education. On July 17th at 4 p.m., you can join the executive director of the Pequot Museum, Joshua Carter, for a discussion about Shirley N. Hager's book, By the Gatherings, Reimagining Indigenous Settler Relations. Register for the Wet 2 Book Club Talking Circle on the Pequot Museum website.
Each Sunday, we light the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. And this morning, when we focus on intergenerational connections, we have a special young at Heartster to light the chalice. I'd like to call up Linda Sargent, who, of course, works with our little ones, often from nursery and pre-K all the way up through second grade, and helps us prepare lesson plans for that group, and just takes such an interest in connecting with them that we honor your intergenerational connections. And while Linda lights our chalice, we say these words together that were written by a minister and a religious educator at the time, one of our own, Lexi Capon. We light this chalice for our children, youth, and adults, celebrating the flame of faith lit in each of us, honoring the light each of us brings into the world, rejoicing in the community we create together.
We light today's candle of peace for families being split apart by the deportation of immigrants. Children have been taken from their schools, and parents are being removed without any regard for the children who depend upon them. Now, caregivers are being sent to prisons and country to which they have no connection, never to be seen again. Our hearts ache for these families. May righteous people stop these indecent actions, and may compassion become our compass. Amen.
This morning, a poem from Shel Silverstein about intergenerational connections. I'll read it through twice. Said the little boy, "Sometimes I drop my spoon." Said the old man, "I do that too." The little boy whispered, "I wet my pants." "I do that too," laughed the old man. Said the little boy, "I often cry." The old man nodded, "So do I." "But worst of all," said the boy, "it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me." and he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. "I know what you mean," said the little old man. Said the little boy, "Sometimes I drop my spoon." Said the old man, "I do that too." The little boy whispered, "I wet my pants." "I do that too," laughed the little old man. Said the little boy, "I often cry." The old man nodded. "So do I." "But worst of all," said the boy, "it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me." And he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. "I know what you mean," said the little old man.
When I was a little girl, my family lived in the third-floor apartment of my grandparents' brownstone in Brooklyn, New York. It was a very happy time for me. I spent countless hours with my Aunt Margie and my grandmother and knew everyone up and down the block, from Gentle Howard to Vera, who was always ready with lollipops, and they were the kind with a string. It was a magical time in my life. My earliest memories are with Aunt Margie, going to the Rockaways and sitting in a chair just coloring. Every year on my birthday, I receive a card from Aunt Margie with "You are special" written in it. And I am reminded once more that I am beloved. When I was 4, we moved to Waldwick, New Jersey, where our cousins, older cousins, the Cardys, lived. Again, deep bonds were formed. We shared summer barbecues and many holidays together. My fondest memories are of John teaching me to shoot a basketball, and Dad leading the adults in singing Irish songs on the 4th of July. As a teenager, I would often drop in and visit Margie John's wife, especially after the tragic death of my youngest sister, Nancy. This relationship was and still is significant. Research shows that having an adult other than a parent or teacher is very important to an adolescent's well-being. Margie was my adult. With her, I could just be. We had no grief counseling following the death of my sister. My visits with Margie were a respite from my family's grief. I don't know how I would have gotten through my teenage years without her presence in my life. She was my mentor and counselor. She's been a part of every significant event in my life and that of my family. Our endearing love and friendship continues. I also had caring adults in my faith community at St. Luke's. In faith formation classes led by caring adults, we discussed topics of interest to us teens. We participated in retreats designed by youth and adults. Those bonds, along with those formed as a community advisor in the residence halls in college, where our job was to foster community, defined as a place where it's safe to be known. And in the diocesan work in youth and family ministry in my early 20s, gave me deep and meaningful intergenerational relationships where all were called and safe to be our true, authentic selves and to share our unique gifts. My life was rich and full. I miss those times. Things are different now, 50 and 20 years later. Like me, many teens and adults have no family close by. Research shows that many are lonely and socially isolated and report that they do not receive the social and emotional support they need. In fact, in 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General called attention to a national epidemic of loneliness and social isolation. Intergenerational programs hold a key to overcoming this epidemic. People who participate in them report improved social connections, reduced loneliness, increased empathy and understanding between generations, and a stronger sense of community. Self-esteem, academic performance, and social skills often increase in the younger participants, while older adults report enhanced mood, cognitive function, and a greater sense of purpose and well-being. This past Wednesday, I spent a day at Northfield, an intergenerational conference with workshops, services, group sharing, and just plain old-fashioned fun. What a joyful, healing, and empowering experience with all ages, loving, supporting, and enjoying each other it was. I came to All Souls after Carolyn's sermon last year at Pequot Chapel, when she urged, and she didn't just encourage, she urged all present to find your community. I found my community at All Souls. Our hope is to make experiences like those I had growing up in Brooklyn and in my faith community at St. Luke's and at Northfield become even more alive and vibrant in our beloved community here at All Souls.
I've been working with children in schools as an educator for many years, and it's very true what they say, that it's invigorating being around young people, and all of you who have young people in your lives know it, and it's a great joy. But I also was raised with grandparents and great-grandparents. I was raised with my parents, but also we had that extended family, and my great-grandparents were born in the 19th century, and when I mention it to kids in this day and age, they can't believe that I knew someone from the 19th century, but yeah, there they were at the table. Now, if I stop in a diner to take out a coffee, the waitress always refers to me as honey. What'll it be, honey? I'm 67, the same age as George Washington when he died. On the other hand, according to ancient texts, Abraham, the original, was 100 years old when his wife Sarah gave birth to Isaac. So age is fleeting. We all know that life expectancy for most has been increasing around the world. We know that the percentage of people who are old is increasing rapidly in many countries. In Japan, Korea, and some Northern European nations, it is considered a crisis. As soon as the year 2030, the population of individuals 65 and older in China will be larger than the entire population of the United States. We debate the imminent needs of our aging population, not only in terms of Social Security funds or lack thereof, but also Medicare, Medicaid, and related forms of social infrastructure designed to support senior citizens. I say it with the quotation marks because I'm not particularly fond of that. But today's reflection is not only about these factlets. There are related issues, for instance, available housing, job opportunities, social mobility for younger people, the capacity of the young to gather enough wealth to build some level of intergenerational wealth. These are existential issues. When my wife Maggie and I visited Ireland last year, these topics were there as well. Everybody was talking about it, the same thing. And this is around the world in many countries. Here is a simple truth. There have never been so many old people on our beautiful but fragile planet as there are this very day. And tomorrow there'll be more. But as noted, today's reflection is not about discussing age and ageism. It is about consideration of how diverse generations, all of us, can face the expanding polycrisis affecting all societies and find ways to work together towards meaningful and equitable solutions. Working as a team of some sort, we can do this to keep our species viable. The language of how we think about and categorize age is always changing. What is age now? Okay, we know that with each spin of our little planet, we are a day older. But what are the words we use to describe age? Any age. There is, as you would expect, shifting use of language. Baby, teenager, tween, middle age, silver fox, sort of like that. Senior citizen, ageless, gray beard. What about any more? Any of you have any more? Old fogey, yes. Good. Yes, what else? Good. Millennials, okay. Long, oh, I love that. Long in the tooth, yes, yes. Geezer, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. So there's a lot of them, and they are mostly not something that we enjoy hearing, right? Do we use terms like senior moment? Do we use terms like troubled teen? Whippersnapper? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's it. We say boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, and now, of course, now there's Gen Alpha coming. Are these terms useful? In my view, they divide us more than unite us. We humans are very good at inventing terms to otherize, and ultimately it's not helpful. YODA, Youngers and Olders Dismantling Ageism, is a project of the national group known as Co-Generate. It was formerly known as Encore, and then it was about helping older folks find an encore in their lives to do volunteering and advising and that sort of thing. But it's changed into a much wider scope. The Co-Generate group is working on these issues. Aston Applewhite is a Co-Gen Impact Fellow and author of a book, This Chair Rocks, a manifesto against ageism, and a co-founder of Old School Hub. And my point in bringing her up is she rejects the standard terms of youth and elder and elderly. In her book, she suggests youngers and olders. Now, it's a little bit, I'm not used to it yet. It doesn't flow very easily, but she makes a point that the purpose is to remove the somewhat traditional hierarchy of power when talking about the old and young. There is an interesting Substack I recommend to you that is called Oldsters. So check that out. It's free. Also, the AARP is putting out a series of articles and resources that are useful for this work. The UN's World Health Organization has excellent guides and resources for what they call intergenerational practices. A group I am involved with, Weave, for weaving the social fabric, it comes out of Aspen Institute, also works on these issues, among others. But here's the point. We need action. We need unified action. Some of the traditional pairings of diverse generations, such as adults reading to young children, and don't forget to let the kids read to you when you're in those pairings, those are wonderful and useful things. We need new and better opportunities for sharing skills, knowledge, wonderings, and worries. Here at All Souls, we have some excellent practices. How can that work? How can that work be expanded to the wider community? Interfaith settings, in schools, after-school spaces, creating evening workshops for how to cook, how to knit, how to use your smartphone more effectively, have it being tutored by a young person how to speak conversational Spanish. These are things that we could organize and do. Poet Robert Keyes writes in his poem, Hokusai Says, Hokusai being the artist that we're familiar with who painted the wave, the big wave, but he did a lot of things. And in this poem, he writes, and the name of the poem is Hokusai Says. Hokusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there is no end to seeing. He says, look forward to getting old. Peter Wallenben writes about aging gracefully in his well-known The Hidden Life of Trees. Of course, he was talking about trees, but those old trees look really beautiful, and I'm thinking, how do we show youth what aging gracefully looks like and be open to hearing, really listening to them to understand how they see the world and their prospects? New London's mayor, through my friend Jeannie Milstein, is looking to set up a city committee on intergenerational opportunities and challenges, which I hope to be involved with. So I hope to be invited back for a future reflection to give you all an update on that. And I just finally wanted to say that the British author Oliver Burkeman wrote a book that many of you are familiar with called 4,000 Weeks a few years ago. It is based on the concept that we humans typically live to our early 70s. I hope to surpass that, but according to his calculation, I have lived about 3,500 weeks of the 4,000. So I just cannot wait to get over there and get some coffee because I got so much work to do. All right, thank you very much. And the offering is right here. Each week, we give to the work of the congregation. Your generosity makes the care we provide possible. Please say with me the words to prepare us for the offering. We give to the work of All Souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this our offering. The offering will be gratefully received.
Thank you for all you have given and sacrificed. It's a summer service, so it's one basket, but one basket filled with your care and love. This is the time in our service when we open our circle of care. We light candles here in Unity Hall to silently share what we hold in our hearts. Online, you are invited to share a joy or concern in the chat. We hold this space for that which is spoken and that which remains unspoken. You are now invited to come up the side aisle to light a candle. Mary Drake asks for prayers for our military in the Middle East and elsewhere, including her grandson stationed in Estonia and all affected by our unwarranted attack on Iran. Haley and Alex Fox share, "We're grateful beyond words to share the safe arrival of our rainbow baby, Wesley Otto Fox, born on June 19th, and are deeply thankful for the prayers and love that surround him, us, and his big brother and guardian angel, Otto. Mom and Wesley are both happy, healthy, and home." We're so grateful, Haley and Alex, that you in this long journey have come to this moment. And in the book, Lynette and Sid Gardner will celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary on June 26th. Happy 80th birthday today to Rob Bowman. And Quinn shares, "I'm safe, but coping with a fire in my apartment building on Monday. My unit was not burned, You need the glasses for this one. But there was smoke damage. I'm grateful for friends who are helping me land. We're with you, Quinn, and let us know if you need more support. And Carolyn Carter shares, grateful for being part of this community and for attending the Spark Gala at the Guard last night with fellow artists. Sounds great. And let's see what we have in the online pews. Eleanor McClellan shares, when I take myself for a walk at McCook in Niantic, I am sure to walk through the kids' playground. It makes me happy. Kate Treadwell Hill shares, now my younger friends are extra important as my older ones keep dying. Carol shares, Bob and I joyously celebrated the marriage of our niece this weekend. Congrats to the Buntings. Fran Campbell says, our daughter Jean is slowly recovering. Eleanor also shares that on a different note, she spent yesterday afternoon at the ER with Jim and will appreciate positive thoughts and intentions that he will recover a greater degree of good health. We're with you and Jim, Eleanor. Sandy Cohn shares, my first husband, Jimmy Foley, died 18 years ago tonight. He was such a loving, gentle man. We're holding you in our hearts, Sandy, with that anniversary. Oh, and Fran shared more detail that her daughter, Jean, is recovering from leukemia via stem cell transplant. We are so grateful to the transplant team. We're certainly wishing your daughter a full recovery. We hold all of those things in our heart. Please join me in a moment of prayer. Spirit of life and sacred mysteries, we reach out to you and hold you inside of us as we cope with difficulties we did not imagine but now face. Some of these we must face alone, and other ones we process in solidarity with others. No matter the context of our troubles, we are held by this community of care and compassion. We have a place where we may find solace when we weep of sorrow, and smiling faces when we weep for joy. May the spirit of beloved community clear our minds, strengthen our resolve, and bring light to our souls. We ask this in your many names, and with gratitude for all the beauty that surrounds us, even in troubled times. Amen. Now we'll have a moment of silence. As we hold all of those sorrows and joys, we think about the care that exists in this community. And part of our beloved community support team is the outreach team. And many of you signed up to bring a meal or give a ride or make a visit. And we are grateful for that. We are also fortunate to have a group of souls who stepped up to take a deeper role in pastoral care. They are on call to be present for those more difficult life circumstances, and if you simply need someone to talk to. Whether the issue you face is big or small, these folks are ready to listen with compassion. And today, we commission and bless the pastoral care team as they begin their special role. So I'd like to call up the team of Paul Carolyn, Karen Ethier-Waring, Charlie Ewers, Michelle Ewers, who is the lead of the team, Carol Thompson, who can't be with us today, and Glennis Olchak. So come on up. And Michelle is the team lead, so she's going to share a few words with you about the team.
Well, good morning. Earlier this year, when the team learned that Katrina was going to be leaving earlier than we anticipated, we decided that the team was going to continue to do our support for the congregation, but that it would be really, really beneficial if we could be trained. And so with Katrina's help, we took a training course, an intensive training course through the UUA Institute on pastoral care to prepare for this. And so that we could continue to serve this congregation as we go through this whole change that we're dealing with now. What we learned when we took this course was that lay pastoral care is really a journey. It's journeying with someone. It's the presence of the congregation through the pastoral care team in a moment of someone's need. And it goes beyond being a friend or a fellow congregant. According to our training, I just want to share with you what pastoral care is. And Perry mentioned some of the things already, but it's helping to build bridges within our congregation. Pastoral care helps someone make meaning out of experiences. It's being present so someone will not be alone in a difficult time. It's helping someone explore their faith. It can be many, many different things. In other words, the pastoral care team is here for when souls need a caring presence, a listening ear, and extra support. And I want just to tell you quickly what pastoral care is not. All right? What pastoral care is not. It is not fixing problems in someone's life or conducting therapy or counseling sessions. It's not about providing answers or exercising power over other persons or taking on the responsibility for another person's challenges and problems. But what I imagine that many of you are kind of wondering, so we have this team, how is it all going to work? You know, how do we get in touch and all of that? So this morning when you came in, you should have been given a card. I don't know? Okay. Well, I don't know where they are, do you? Yeah.
We'll have them we'll hopefully find them and have them at the welcome table, because there are other things there too, so you'll want to look this up.
All right. Okay, so where I was with that. You were supposed to get a card, and on that card it had the email that you can use to contact us, and it also had a telephone number that you can use to contact us. When you call or email, it comes to me, and then I get in touch with one of the people on our team, and they will in turn get in touch with you. So we're going to try that. To be really honest, we don't know how this is going to work, but I think we're prepared for it, and just want you to be aware of that. So we'll get the cards to you so you'll have them. And I know Tammy will be putting it in the email blast. So, and we will be up here again explaining exactly what it's going to be and how we're going to do it, and we'll see what happens. But I just want you to remember and to know that we are here for you. We're here for you. And keep in mind that you don't have to have a crisis to call us. You know, you can call if you're lonely and just want somebody to talk to. You can call if you're maybe having to go into a nursing home or if you're in the hospital. You could call on us if you're having difficulty dealing with the transition, especially right now in this church, what we're going through, even just to talk about that. You can call us if you need somebody to sit with you, and if you're trying to make a decision, just to hear what you're trying to do. You can call on us if you've just gotten a a diagnosis that has thrown you for a loop. We are here to provide a caring presence, a listening ear, and extra support. And so after the service, if you have any other questions, I guess we can meet over there. And
We'll be in the Nash room.
oh, we're going to meet in the Nash room? Okay. We're going to meet in the Nash room. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of us, and we'll try to answer your questions. Okay.
Yes, there'll be a circle of care in the Nash room after the service for those who want to come and can talk about transition or anything else that's on your mind. So now we commission and bless this team. Your role is simple. The words are up there, and so after I say some words, I will prompt you to say, "We give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing." We think of the comfort we find in another person's presence and the power of listening. Give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing. Pastoral care team members, if you are willing to be caring listeners to your fellow souls, to sit with them in their pain and celebrate with them in their joy, please say, "I will." I will. We think of the generosity of spirit and offering solace when it is needed. We give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing. Pastoral care team members, if you are willing to offer your generous spirit and provide solace when it is needed, please say, "I will." I will. We think of the safe space needed for souls to be comfortable and courageous in asking for help. We give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing. Pastoral care team members, if you are willing to create a safe and welcoming space for those in need, please say, "I will." I will. We think of the importance of self-care and knowing how to nurture your own well-being. We give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing. Pastoral care team members, if you promise to care for yourself and each other as you give your time and energy to this faith community, please say, "I will." I will. We think of the power of community and the strength in a network of care. There are many who lend a helping hand. We give thanks for those who provide this care and offer them our blessing. Pastoral care team members, if you will collaborate with the staff and volunteer helpers on the outreach team to create a strong network of care, please say, I will. I will. Today, we commission you as our pastoral care team members. The congregation places its trust in you as their spiritual companions, witnesses of their life paths. Your care is powerful, and you have support in this endeavor. May you know that you are enough, and you are a blessing. For all the ways that we care for one another, we give thanks, and may the congregation say, Amen. Thank you all. And now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our closing hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Please say with me the chalice extinguishing words. Our worship is ended, but our service is not yet done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. The chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion.
And now the chalice flame is extinguished. If you're in the online pews, I invite you to put one hand on your heart and reach out to the community beyond the virtual world. And here in Unity Hall, I invite you to reach out with your arms. This is a community where all ages are embraced and treasured. Our hearts have been in a holy place, this holy place. And take all of this love and energy and care and hold it in your heart and take it with you out into the week. Spread it in the world beyond these walls and bring a piece of it back with you next Sunday when we gather again. May you all go in peace. And we say together, amen. Amen. Please enjoy the postlude.
Now the 1st of December was covered with snow. Yes, and so was the turnpike from Stockbridge to Boston. Though the Berkshires seemed dreamlike on account of that frosting, with 10 miles behind me and 10,000 more to go. There's a song that they sing when they take to the highway, a song that they sing when they take to the sea, a song that they sing about their home in the sky. Baby, you can believe it if it helps you to sleep. The singing works fine for me. Won't you let me go down in my dreams? Yes, and rock-a-bye, sweet baby Jane.
A special thank you to Jay Franklin for being our accompanist and pianist today. How lucky were we? So if you're new or new-ish and you'd like to learn more about All Souls and UUism, you can head to the welcome table, but that's not the only reason to head to the welcome table, as you've kind of gotten the gist of. So I'm going to let Chris explain about next steps with Intergenerational Connections, but also know that you can get the pastoral care team contact cards at the table. Ginny's standing back there. Are you going to hand them out there, or you want to go? You'll go to the table. All right. So everything at the table, and the pastoral care team will be in the Nash room to create the circle and receive you with whatever you come with. This is the start of it. This is, right, an example of how we do this. And next week, Morgana Avery Birdsall and Catherine Wright will reflect on animal companions, our connection to our animal companions. Okay.
And in addition to all those other things on the table, there are also single sheet lists of resources regarding intergenerational work that I welcome you to take. You can take it and look at it. You can take it and explore it if you like, but they're there on the table for you if you're interested. And we hope to, gather together in the future with some interested folks that would like to explore it further. Thank you very much.
Is there a poetry circle today, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, in the library is the Poetry Circle. It's become a really beloved event each month. Right? And you could read Shel Silverstein again. Right? All right, enjoy coffee hour and enjoy this summer Sunday.